And then I gotta go rest at the inn. And like, I don't really want to cast, like, I have Sizz too. You can't see it right here because it's only showing out of combat spells. But I have Sizz. I don't really want to use Sizz because that's just going to make me have to go back to the inn faster, right? So I feel like games like this where you don't have like a per use ability or like a some kind of regen mechanic or something, like a lot of abilities end up not getting used because it's like a you don't want to pay the cost situation sometimes, or like you don't know how far it's going to be the next save point, so maybe you should conserve your MP, right? But I never felt that way in Chrono Cross because I always knew I could use each ability every fight, so you could like make strategies around using all of your abilities, right? Like you didn't have to worry about not having it. That's always fun. I like that a lot. Or like last night when we were playing Persona 1. In Persona 1, and I don't know because I don't know the mechanics. I'm playing the game blind, so I don't know entirely what's going on, but it seems like we just get SP back by walking around. Like we have like a SP regen as we walk or something. So like I am just spamming Persona skills in that game. And I'm sure eventually they'll cost more and I might have to think about that. But for right now, like with the weak personas that my party has, their Persona skills cost 4 SP to cast. Every one of them only cost 4 SP. And I get that back before I get to the next fight. So I basically have like unlimited SP right now. So I can just like throw around all my Persona abilities. I can try them all out and I can be like, I don't have to be like, oh man, I don't know, Hama probably isn't even going to work because it's instant death attack and it's going to fail and it might not be weak against it. So I'm not going to cast Hama, you know. But no, I can be like, throw Hama on them. It might work and I get the SP back, whatever, you know. It wasn't a direct sequel, but it wasn't just in the same universe and happened later. I mean, it has Chrono Trigger characters in it, like Luca and Robo. Like, there are Chrono Trigger characters directly in the game, part of the plot. Like, Shala is extremely important to the plot. She's a Chrono Trigger character. So, like, it is a direct sequel. It's just not obvious how it's a direct sequel until you get really far into the game. Like, if they hadn't have called it Chrono Cross, if they had just called it, like, I don't know, something completely different, right? Game X, whatever. Like, if they gave it a completely different name and didn't advertise the fact that it was a Chrono Trigger sequel, I feel like if people had approached it as just a JRPG, they would have liked it. I mean, not they didn't like it already. I feel like it's a liked game. I don't think people have a hate out for Chrono Cross. But I'm saying, like, if they would have approached it as on its own merits, I think it would have been a little more hyped, maybe. I don't know. And then it would almost have been like a surprise when you get towards the end and you're like, oh, wait a minute. Luca? Robo? Shala? What's going on? You know, like, you would have been like, oh my god, this is a Chrono Trigger sequel. And it would have been like a happy moment at that point, right? Instead, everyone was just expecting so much more, and they didn't get it. And I love, like, Chrono Cross is one of my favorite PlayStation 1 games. It's got a lot of competition, though, to be fair. So I have a my son, he's about to turn 5 like in a month and a half, right? So he's going into kindergarten next year. Or later this year, I guess, right? And he's just starting to like really get like this love for video games. He started wanting to play Mario and Zelda and Yoshi games and stuff, and like super excited to see him learning how to use the controller and jump Mario around and stuff. I'm not I don't know how to describe that, but it's like freaking awesome. I can't wait to like he can read well, you know, and like he's mature enough to understand the stories in some of my games, because I would love to like put him on here and be like, all right, Leo, you're going to get to experience like Final Fantasy VI blind for the first time, you know, and just not let him know anything about it, you know, or, you know, sit down, we're gonna play whatever. Like, there's so many good games, right? And like, I'm gonna like actively try and not let him know anything about the game first, right? Like, to be able to see someone actually be able to experience a game blind with no prior knowledge, and have you knowing, putting them into it, how good it is, you know, like that's great. I love doing that with like my friends and like TV shows and stuff too. It's like, oh dude, you gotta watch this. And like, I have a lot of friends that like, they don't pay attention to that kind of thing, so they're like, you know, they'd be like, what is this? I'm like, you're gonna love it, don't worry about it, just watch it. You know? It's like, sit them down, turn it on, and be like, here's some popcorn, this is gonna be great. I want to do that with my son, but like with video games. You can't really invite your friend over that much and be like, here, sit down and play this 80-hour game at my house, you know, like, come live at my house forever. But like my son, I'd be like, okay, here you go, you can play this game, and you live here, so have at it, you know, in your own time. We have a little Super Nintendo Classic, and I got the program that lets you crack it open and put like whatever games you want on there. I've even got like Game Boy Advance games on there, right? And so I've got like all these, like every single good Super Nintendo game downloaded onto that thing, and I put it in his room, and he's like just in there playing right away at them. He can't really play that many of them yet because he doesn't have the skill level, and he can't read, so that hurts a lot, right? But you know, he's in just a few short weeks, man, that kid's like beating Mario levels and shit, so it's exciting. I went in there the other day, and that kid had like loaded up my Earthbound save from God knows when, and he was playing Earthbound, and he was just happily grinding along, and I'm like, hey buddy, what you doing there? And he's like, I'm playing this. I'm like, yeah, you're fighting Starman there with my Earthbound save. Do you know what you're doing? Because like, the kid can't read, but he's just like chewing through the JRPG menu, just kind of spamming X or whatever, or A button on the Super Nintendo controller. And my characters were strong enough, it was just kind of working out for him, right? But he was happily having fun with it. He didn't entirely know what he was doing, I guess, but it was just so weird to walk in and see him playing a game that definitely requires reading, you know? And I'm like, I know you can't read. What are you doing? He's gotten now to where like he wants to like play the games, but he doesn't know how to play a lot of the games, so he wants to play them with me. So like every day we set aside like an hour, and I'll play a game with him. We've been playing through Link's Awakening, like the new Switch version of Link's Awakening, which is fun. Like I'll help direct him around it, and I'll, you know, he gets on a hard boss or something, I'll beat it for him. It's nice. Having kids is fun sometimes. It's a lot of work, but there's benefits too, right? We just beat the face shrine tonight. It was that's the 6th dungeon. There's like 2 more instruments we gotta get, and we'll be waking up that windfish. I mean, obviously I'm helping a lot, but less than I would have thought I'd have to. Anyways, enough about my kid. You guys don't even know him. I got like on a tangent there. We almost have enough for the armor. You know, if we get to level 10, I think we might just use this Chimera Wing, go back to the king, save the game, and just go forward. You know, like, if we die, we've saved. That's the thing right now, is like, I could move forward, and I'm pretty strong. I'd probably be okay. But, like, I'm not 100% sure, because I don't know the game that well, and I've never played this version of it. So, like, if I go forward and die, we'll lose like an hour of progress because I can't save the game without going back to the king. Just such a weird mechanic that they have in the old Dragon Quest games, where you have to actually go to the king to save the game. So there's a good topic. What game had the weirdest save system? I mean, we already know it's Dragon Quest. Go find the nearest monarch, or only monarch in this case, to save the game. But I'm just trying to think, like, a lot of games have had a lot of different save points over the years. I like sometimes when like a JRPG tries to like work the save point into the lore. Like, they're like, oh no, these save points are really here, and the characters in the world know about it, and it's like a thing that records our memories or something, like in like was it Xenogears? Like, people would go and like pray or talk to the save points or something, and it would record their memories. Like, they knew about them. Like, it was an in-game item. It wasn't just like a function of the game that that the NPCs just didn't know existed. It was like in the world. They did add a save feature, but it's a quick save only. So like, since this is a mobile game now, being on the Switch, and it's also been put on mobile and stuff, like, they've added a quick save, but it's a quick save, so that means like you save it and the game goes off, right? So like, it's not like a save and keep going kind of situation. Normally with quick saves too, when you load the save, it sort of deletes itself, right? It's only meant to be, I've got to stop playing for now, so let me save it quickly, right? But it's still, to do a real save, we still have to go back to the king, to my knowledge. 600 more gold and we will be in Armor City. And then we can head down there and try and save that princess. Or at least go through the cave where the princess is. I don't think we're actually going to try and save her yet. She is guarded by a dragon, if I do remember right. Think of Ori and the Blind Forest had a save spell that cost mana. Really? That's another idea. Like, saves that have like a consumable cost. In the case of Ori, there's mana. In the case of like Resident Evil, you got the ink ribbons, right? So like a limited save feature. Those are interesting. Or even in the case of like, well, Resident Evil is the one that comes to mind. I was gonna say Metal Gear, but I don't know if that's entirely true. Like, games where like it counts the number of saves that you made, and it might count against some sort of rank or something. Like, okay, well, you don't get S rank on this playthrough of Resident Evil because you saved like 50 times and you needed to save like less than 3 or something. I don't know what the actual numbers are, but I know there is like a feature like that. Yeah, Metal Gear Solid, there was a radio frequency you could call, like a special. There was like a girl that you could call, like, was it, I think, Mei Ling? You could call Mei Ling and be like, hey, I want to save my game. And then she would give you some like fact. Like, I think in one of the games, the girl would give you like movie facts. It's like, hey, you want to save the game? Have I told you about like this random movie from the 90s or whatever? Shovel Knight, you could choose between a checkpoint or money. That's an interesting one too. Yeah, you could break the checkpoint for extra money, so it's like, I don't need this save. Checkpoints are an interesting save feature in and of themselves. Right up there with autosaves. Like, nowadays, autosave is the thing that we get, right? You know, I was playing Link's Awakening the other day. The new Link's Awakening on the Switch has an autosave. I didn't even realize it was doing it. But, it does autosaves. I had no clue. You can save whenever on that game too, so I mean, it's not like you can just save anywhere. But it also has an autosave. I guess if you forget to save, it's got your back. I was about to say, do you think we're going to get level 10 before we get the money for the armor? But the game answered it before I could get the question out. We hit level 10 first. We hit the fizzle spell. Alright, we only need 400 more gold. So let's grind out this last 400 gold, buy the armor, use the Chimera Wing to go back to the king. We have level 10 and the best armor. Other than, there's one shield that's better. The best equipment money can buy before we go to Remuldur, and then we'll head to Remuldur. Super prepared to head to Remuldur, right? Gotta head through that cave to get there. I feel like a save before we head there is probably prudent. I'm sure there's much faster ways to do this grinding. Like, if you had a better idea of like the numbers as far as like how strong you gotta be or what equipment you need to go where, you could probably fight much stronger monsters and level a lot faster, but I just don't know the game that well. Ooh, speaking of old school save mechanics, how about those old NES games that didn't actually have saves on the cartridge but instead gave you like a password? You guys remember passwords? Like if you played like old school Mega Man, you'd beat a level and it'd be like, write down these symbols, because if you enter in these symbols, you could get back here, you know? Password saves, man. Yeah, long ones too, with weird symbols, or like symbols that looked like other symbols, so you might write it down wrong, or like mix up your ones and your L's or something. Or it could be like passwords that are just literally made up of pictures, like Mega Man, it would be like, it was like it wasn't like letters, it was like a grid of symbols, right? Which is an interesting solution to the save problem if you didn't have like save on the cartridge. I mean, back in the day, like Final Fantasy and Zelda and them actually being able to save on the NES cartridge is kind of a big deal, with all these other games just being like, you either play it and beat it, or you play it and start over next time. Or, you know, you run out of lives and you start over, or write down a password like Mega Man, right? Like, you want to beat Ninja Gaiden? Well, we'll remember what last level you made it up to, so if you run out of lives, we'll let you start back there, so you kind of have like a continue system. Continues, that's another interesting sort of save feature. But if you turn off that system, you're starting over, right? Nowadays, people talk about hardcore mode or Iron Man mode or whatever, and you know, it's like it's this like super hard thing that I might try and do, and it's like, man, back in the day, that's just how games were. Saving, that's like a luxury. Having more than 3 lives? What? People talk about how hard like Dark Souls and stuff are, and it's like, it's a hard game, sure, but I mean, once you learn it, it's not like, that's why I like Dark Souls difficulty so much, is because it's not actually that difficult. It's like the difficulty is learning it. Like, once you learn it, it's actually not hard to accomplish generally. So like, it's a skill-based difficulty. or like a knowledge-based difficulty. Whereas like some old games, it's just like literally like I know what to do, but it's hard to do it kind of difficulty, you know, like I've done it 100 times, but I mess up because I don't know, my hands don't always quite input the sequence right, or you know, or whatever. Yeah, NES mode. or even farther back, like my first video game console was an Atari 2600. Those games, the difficulty wasn't just in the fact that you had few lives or the fact that you couldn't save. It was also in the fact that the game itself was like, the graphics were so representational. It's like, okay, well that block is like everything was just like squares, right? So like you could use some imagination for those graphics. And I had a lot of great games on my Atari though. I had like Pole Position, Pitfall, and those are classics. Hubert. Yeah, everything was an explosion. Oh, and that controller with like the one joystick with the one button that never seemed to want to point in the right direction. Like people will talk about like, I remember I had a friend over and I handed him a controller, and I have these like retro controllers. They're not actually a retro controller. They look like old controllers, but they're actually, you know, like USB and they're Bluetooth, and they're nice controllers, but they look like old NES or Super Nintendo controllers. And he's like, does this even have enough buttons? And I'm like, man, back in the Atari games you had one button and you were happy with it. You don't need 20 buttons on your controller. The game doesn't use all 20 buttons, you know. When you played Mario Maker or something, you still only really have like 3 buttons, right? You've got like the run button, the jump button, and like the spin jump button, right? And like Mario still gets by with just that, generally. This game essentially has 2 buttons, a yes button and a no button, and that's about it. You press the yes button to open up the menu or to talk to people. Oh, I guess there's a map button too to open the map. Right? That's a 3rd button, I guess. I'm not counting the directional buttons. Alright, like one more fight, maybe 2. Almost there. I don't think I ever beat Pitfall. But to be fair, I was really young when I played the Atari. So I've never played it again. Alright, man. Well, thanks for coming by, Godly. Yeah, I understand. It was nice having you here. I'll see you next time. Alright, we got enough for that armor. Let's do one more fight to make sure we have enough for the inn. And then we're gonna go buy the armor, equip it, and go back to the king to save real quick. Alright. The inn back at the king is only like 3. Actually, I think you can heal for free in the castle. Alright. Full plate armor. 14 more armor. Even the armor says unlimited uses. What uses? Alright, we need to sell the old armor too. Chainmail. and we're going to use the Chimera Wing. Okay. We are well equipped now, at least for this point in the game. Let us Chimera Wing out of here. You don't even get to choose where to go with the Chimera Wing in this game. It just takes you back to the king where you can save. You know, in other Dragon Quest games, when you use the Chimera Wing, it says, hey, where do you want to go? This one's like, oh no, I got you. This is where you want. Alright, we're going to save our game. Whew, got 4 levels since then. Alright. Hey, thank you for watching. I'm going to be on here every Monday through Friday. Same time, same place. You know, mark it down on your calendars. Final Fantasy Fridays, Shin Megami Tensei Monday and Wednesdays, and Dragon Quest Tuesday, Thursdays for the foreseeable future. Alright, we've saved. It's time to head to Rimmeldur, so we gotta walk back over there. Should be a pretty leisurely stroll. Oh no, we need to stay at the end first. Oops. I know I forgot something. That's why I stopped. I'm like, I guess we're good? No, we're not. We wanted to heal up. Let's go talk to this old guy. I think he'll heal us for free. Yeah, 32 MP. Only 30 HP. Wait. Does he only heal? He only healed our MP. That's interesting. Alright. Alright, we're at max HP. So do you heal my MP? Yeah, he heals just your MP. That's interesting. Anyways, we're healed up, we're saved up, we're armored up. Let's get out of here. Of course, we'll get to Rimmeldur and be like, oh, look, new weapons and armor we want to buy. But at least we'll get money faster off the monsters there. I think they might have the gold golem guys over in that area. Alright, the cave is down here through all this poison. I think the poison only does like 1 damage per step. It's a lot more fanfare than what it's actually doing to you. Alright, so it's dark when you're underground, so we have a spell for that. And if I remember correctly, I think you can actually just head straight down. Like, there's a maze in this area, like if I head over here. But I think if we just head straight down, we'll get out of here. A lunatic. Nice. The princess is guarded by a dragon and is in here, I believe. But, and she's off to the side somewhere. But if we just want to get, yeah, behind that door. But if we just want to get out, I believe we can just go straight down. Right there. Booyah. Alright. So now we want to head to Rimmeldur, which we saw on our map is a city that's in the center of a lake in the center of this continent here. Ooh, iron scorpions. And how much these guys are worth. It's only 2 hits. 31 XP and 48 gold. Nice. There's Rimmeldur. Alright, let's check this town out. Thou art come unto the town of Rimmeldur. Stranger, we bid thee welcome.